everyone, and welcome to Mysteries Explained with Becky and Dave. I'm Becky, and Dave's over there somewhere. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm surviving. Let's just
Good.
leave it at that.
Yeah, well, that's all we can do, man, at the end of the day, right? We just got to survive another day. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just been a very stressful week, and I'm ready for a nice hour-long massage that I'm going to go get tomorrow. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, well, while on that note, how many of those have you had? I mean, what kind of massage are you getting, first of all?
A full body massage. And
Okay, is it by like a massage therapist or just like a person that knows how to massage?
no, this time I'm going to a place called Massage Envy.
Okay.
Before I had gone. That's great speech right there. I had went to a place called Gadabout, which is class, all that stuff out
Right,
here.
right.
Because I had gotten a gift certificate a couple Christmases back from Will to go to one.
Okay.
So this is about the second time I've gone. I so looking forward to it because I'm having them focus on my back because just so much tension right now from stress.
Okay, so right there, I just want to stop you and I want you to be aware of something. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I can tell you right now, believe what they tell you when they tell you to drink plenty of water after your session. And
Yes.
I cannot stress that enough because and I didn't think anything about it. I was like, yeah, whatever. Everyone says drink water. I get it. We need water, whatever, blah, 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 lady. Just keep rubbing, right? So after I found out the hard way that that's no joke. That is absolutely no joke. And you will know. I didn't know what was wrong with me when it happened. I had no idea. I was about to go to the emergency room, so I had no idea what was wrong with me. But I found out that if you do not drink enough water, I mean, probably 5 or 6 times the amount of water you would normally drink. I mean, just a ton of just drink water, 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 water after that, or even leading up to it. But what happens is if you go to a massage therapist and they're working and they know what they're doing, when they do what they do, they're releasing like toxins in your body that are like trapped inside you. And when that stuff starts floating through your system, if you do not have enough water to dilute that and counteract it and get it moving, you will learn the hard way. I mean, it's bad. It's
Right.
bad. So make sure, just as a precaution, drink a ton of water before and after. Like just keep doing it. So hopefully you won't have to
Just
go through
live
it.
off the water tomorrow, in other words.
The day of and even like after you have it, just keep doing it and keep doing it. You may pee 40 times, but that's okay. You won't have the issue and just pass out and fall on your face like I did. So yeah, it's bad. It gets bad. Anyway, I just
Yeah.
wanted to get that out of the way so that doesn't happen to anybody.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. It's been very stressful. I'm not a political person. I'm not. And I'm not going to bring in the whole political thing right now. But basically, my kids have been out of school for a week because in
hmm
Arizona, the teachers are pretty much on strike. They walked out. We had no clue when they were going to go back. We had no clue what was going on with promotions, graduations. We were told, yeah, they'll still have a graduation. They just won't get their diploma, which what good is that? In all honesty. Oh, yeah, we'll still have the pretend graduation, but they're not going to get the diploma.
We'll just go through the motions, okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
like, what the hell? What good is that? You're
I
not
know.
helping me at all. Because I have one graduating from high school. I have one that's supposed to go into junior high. And I'm just like, help. What am I supposed to do now? You guys have left us in limbo. And it's just been very stressful not knowing what was going on with the school systems, when it was going to end, what to do with my children. It's just been very stressed. School does return on Monday. They are going to finish out this year with their school system, which is TUSD. But after that, I am pulling them from the system and putting them on an online course so I don't have to worry about this again.
Right.
Because this was just way too much. It upset the parents. It upset the children. I'm just not dealing with it anymore.
Yeah, it's a big mess.
Stressed out. I'm
Yep.
not, because they're saying that they have this Red for Ed movement has things going all the way to November. because of elections. And I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this again. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it gets nasty.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's the kids pay for it, the parents pay for it, and then just your community pays for it because everyone's just like throwing their hands up going, what the hell do we do from here?
Yeah. And it's all, they're saying it's for the students and all this stuff, but there's politics involved. And I'm sorry, but my kids are not going to be political pawns, so to say. I'm taking them out of it. I'm putting them in a system to where I know they're not going to have their education interrupted again. Because that's what frustrated me, was the interruption and not knowing if my high schooler was going to graduate and be able to take the scholarship that she's earned.
Mm-hmm. Right,
like,
right.
I'm going to strangle someone because this is so frustrating. And she still may have to take summer school now because of the fact that she's fallen behind now. So it's so frustrating. And I'm just like, I am done with it. So that's why I've been so stressed. Because I've been just freaking out over my kids being able to move on to the next grade. And the sad part is one of my kids had been on honor roll all year long. And she was supposed to have a ceremony to celebrate that while they were on the walkout.
Whoops.
So she is like, Mom, I'm like, sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I know. And you figured you go through all that, you do what you're supposed to do. You're getting the good grades, and you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna honor you for all that stuff. And then it's like, no, we're just gonna strike instead.
It's like, okay. So it's just been very frustrating. I mean, I get that the school systems need to change. I think everyone agrees that the school systems need to change. And, that teachers are underpaid. I get that. But I don't get this whole, let's walk out.
Yeah.
Let's put so much stress on everyone. Let's walk out.
Yeah, and I get the frustration. I do. But, when it comes down to it, there's got to be another way. I know they've been going through this back and forth for a while, I know, but it just seems like somebody got a little hot-headed and said, you know what? I know what we're going to do. Tuesday at 4:00. Yeah, meet me at the park. We're going to fix this.
That's basically what they did.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. It's not going to fix anything.
Oh my God. Yeah, so it's just been very stressful. I mean, they go back Monday. They're finishing out this year, at their schools, but next year I'm not going through this again. So I'm like, new school systems, we're not dealing with this anymore. So that's why I'm tense.
Well, it's over now. I mean, you fixed it, at least on your end. So, you can relax knowing that, you did your part, and it should get better from here. Yeah. The kids will go back to school.
I have to laugh at this, and I'm not trying to get political. I'm really not. I mean, if I had to choose a side, I'm more conservative. I will admit that. I'm more of a conservative person. But I don't like politics. I honestly don't, because I feel that most politicians are pretty much crooks, Yeah. But what I had to laugh at was one of the Red for Ed movement things was, if we don't take care of these children, who will? And I'm like, their parents?
Well, hopefully. I mean, that's not always the case either.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, are they not thinking that the parents are capable of taking care of their children and making sure that this... that blew my mind when they're like, if we don't take care of these children, who will? And I'm like, the people that gave birth to them.
Hopefully.
I'm like, I know not all parents are great parents, but there are still some out there like myself and Will that are good parents and actually do care about our children, and we will take care of our children. That just blew my mind when I read that. I was like, oh my God. But yes, it's done. It's over with. I'm so over TUSD, and I'm just thankful that they're going back so they can get their degrees and move on. And I'm just going to put them somewhere to where I feel it's safer for them. Online school, they're not going to get bullied either, because my kids have been bullied this year. So they won't get bullied online through the online school. So that's
and if they are bullied, it's by the teacher, right? Yeah. I mean, it's whoever's online with them in the moment. It's like, hey, what are you doing to my kid, man?
Yeah, So there's a lot of plus. In the online school I'm going to, they seem to be really good. They're going to send all the material They're even gonna, send a a laptop if needed.
Mhm.
And they also send you like a gift card I think they said 3 months with, I forget how she's, a certain amount. I can't remember the exact amount to help cover your internet charge
Oh,
for
cool.
using the internet for school.
Well, hell, I want to sign up.
Yeah, you're like, I want that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to school now. Not that I need any of that stuff. It just sounds cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one-on-one attention. They can call up a teacher, live chat with them, anything. So it's
Well,
like it
what I
sounds.
like about it is that they can't bust my ass. You know, like when I was in school, I got my ass beat like daily, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. And then every house I passed on the way home after that busted my ass and yelled at me because everyone already knew what it did, and everybody knew each other, so it sucked. Now I can do what I want, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about it being online is you do it on your schedule.
Hmm.
They're required to be in school for so long per week, so to say, but it's on your time. So we
Right.
don't have to get up at, 7 a.m. to get on that bell right at, 7:45 or whatever. It's on our time, and
Hmm.
still have class trips so they can still socialize with other kids. But it's just, I think that this is going to be so much better for my children, because this past year, to be quite honest with you, has been one of the most difficult years in public school for this family, because I've had two daughters be bullied throughout the whole year. And then this teacher strike and just so much going on that I'm done with the public schools. I'm like, I'm going somewhere else. I'm going online. I'm doing anything
Hmm.
else where
Right.
this isn't an issue anymore. So,
It's just me and you, AOL.
yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine having to do that on dial-up?
Oh, I know.
I think they're really old
Does
internet.
AOL still
Net
exist?
zero. I don't know. I don't think they are as a internet provider, but I think they're still around for like if you go to AOL.com, you can use like the browser or something, but I don't think they provide anything anymore. I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Like, I
I'm
remember
gonna check it out right
everyone had
now. I'm gonna go to
AOL or
AOL.
Net
I'm gonna do
Zero
it.
when internet first came out, and I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I'm going to AOL.com just to see what the hell happens right now. Oh,
that
I can't even.
dial-up tone, and
I
then you get
typed
a
it wrong.
phone call and you get disconnected.
Yeah, hang on. AOL.com. All right, let's see.
Dave's like, I'm on it.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, it's on the internet, but I don't think they provide anything. But you can still go to AOL.com and get your news and weather and sports and whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
but no, luckily we don't have things like that anymore, so it won't be as terrible for
Yeah,
the
I know
kids to
it's fine.
try to. And not
Yeah,
everything is online either. They send out handbooks and stuff, so there's like workbooks that they actually work in. So
right.
there's like hand-on stuff, and then there's some computer time, and then there's
So, do
all
you
this.
have to? How is it set up? I mean, where does the? I want to say like where is it based out of?
It's
I mean,
as far as
does it have anything to do with like the school district there in Arizona? Hopefully not, because they suck. So,
no, it's not. I mean, they have to, of course, do the Arizona curriculum because, they have to conform to that. But it's not actually based in Arizona, but they have an Arizona chapter, if that makes sense.
okay, yeah, I got you.
So it's based back east somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where back east, but I'm like, yay, back east schools. I would rather send my kids back there anyway, but it's like the school systems in Arizona need to change so bad.
Oh,
But
they
yeah,
do. They do.
so I'm just so happy that that's going on, and so relieved, but so looking forward to my massage tomorrow because of the fact that I have all that tension from dealing with all this past week.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to better things
Yeah,
and
go for it.
get off this subject. Uh, we got some great news the other day. It helped break up my stress.
Well, anything that breaks up your stress is good news, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Mysteries Explained is now a podcast on iHeartRadio.
Oh, that's very cool. I saw that. That's super cool. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to uh the guys in charge.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that took a chance on you and I on Voice
Yeah,
Carry Network. Let me tell you right there.
yeah, yeah.
And
Because it's not like I know what the hell I'm doing here,
we just wing it,
or anywhere
basically.
else for that matter. My wife will tell you that for sure.
But Yeah, so that was very cool. I was beyond excited. I actually got tears in my eyes. I got teary-eyed when I saw
Oh,
that. And Will looked at me and he's all, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "Yes, but it's good tears." Girls, we have to, cry at
I
everything.
know. I
So,
was like, I didn't cry. I
oh,
just went,
girls,
oh,
we
that's
do that.
awesome.
We cry when we're happy. We cry when we're
Yeah.
sad. We cry when
Perhaps I should
we're
have cried.
frustrated.
Maybe I'll just cry now, just to
Yeah,
get it over with. Make it up. Yeah, I'll
you're
make up for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very thrilled. That gave me such a nice break in the week. So I want to really throw out that thank you to Stan. And I also want to, of course, thank Terry.
No,
And
absolutely, man. You guys, that was awesome.
yeah,
It couldn't have
I
happened without
really
them.
needed that
That's for
break
sure.
of happiness. So thank you so much. I
You
needed
made her
that stress
cry.
free moment.
Yeah.
But that is so awesome. So anyone who's listening to us, you can definitely make sure that you guys follow us on iHeartRadio too, because that's just the most awesome thing ever. And I was beyond thrilled. I think I jumped up and down on the couch a little bit too.
I cried and jumped up and down.
Yeah,
That's a cool combination.
isn't it? You get excited,
Hmm.
you got tears in your eyes, and you jump up and down.
And
Hey,
then she tripped over the dog and fell.
at least I didn't scream and jump up and down in circles in a pink dress. It got you
Who
silent.
does that? Who does that?
That would be Dave.
Seriously?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that is wonderful news. So definitely, make sure you have that iHeartRadio and following the podcast of Mysteries Explained. But of course, you want to come over to Spreaker on Thursday nights to the Voice Carry Network and listen to us live and hear all of our mistakes live. It's so sad, Dave, knowing that all these mistakes we do now are like out there for millions.
I know. They're just part of history. Yeah, the next day, an hour later, they're just part of history. But that's okay. That's fine. We move
Yeah,
on.
when it's so funny because when we did first start this, okay, we were on just this local little station here that we didn't fit on at all. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I knew the people and I've known them for a long time and I knew what they did and all that good stuff. And, it was comfortable, somewhat. But when you think about all the things that were on the station, yeah, we were just kind of out of place.
yeah, we were definitely out of place. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the coolest little local station, and the guy running it is the greatest and nicest person.
Right.
But we didn't fit in at all because they were all like heavy metal music and all this other stuff, and here we are paranormal.
Right.
And I was really shocked that, the guy called me up going, "Hey, you want to do a paranormal radio show?" And I'm like, "Okay, first of all, are you for real?" Because I didn't know if the guy was for real or not.
Right.
And then when I looked into it and saw, okay, this is for real, I'm like, "Well, don't you want to interview me or something?" "No, I think you'll be great." Okay. And we didn't know what we were doing because he left me in charge. And then I'm like, "Dave, help."
Yeah, I know.
And we had no clue what we were doing. We were not
just thrown into it.
Yeah, we weren't really recorded. So we did the shows live, but they were nowhere archived or to be found again.
Mm-hmm.
So when we completely screwed up, it was okay. Nobody found it again.
Right. It was like that never happened. If you didn't hear it in the moment, you didn't hear it.
We ignore when we screwed up.
Yeah.
Now we can't.
Except that one time.
Except,
yeah, but I do remember one time where apparently like your mic wasn't on. Remember the whole time?
Oh, I know.
And we didn't even realize it, but that we were, or he was able to find that one and go in, and you had to like fix everything before it aired, and it was like, what?
The only time we ever pre-recorded a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
well, luckily that was a pre-recorded because it had to be fixed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but all of our screw ups, we didn't have it recorded to where people could go back and listen. And since we've gotten with Voice Carry Network, our shows could also be replayed here. But now they're also going to be replayed on iHeartRadio, so everyone's going to listen to our mistakes now. Dave, doesn't that make you feel special?
Yeah, I'm over it. It's fine. It's cool. I mean, because everyone makes mistakes. I mean, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. It is what it is, and I'm not, a radio personality and with years of experience, and I haven't, I don't have that radio personality. So It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just me.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't want you any other way, Dave.
Well, that's all I can be, so that's good. All I can be is me, whatever that is, even if it's, wrong. That's just me.
Right.
It's just me.
And then our guests tonight are the Webb Paranormal group, and we will be bringing them on in a minute. But did you know that today is National Paranormal Day?
I vaguely remember seeing something about that, but it's terrible because in a state that I'm in, not literal state, but I mean just the state that I'm in and we're in here, just everything's like I can't really do anything about it. I could say, yay, paranormal stuff, but that's it. You know what I mean? And we are having, we have paranormal on tonight, so that's cool.
Yeah, but
That's a
it's
plus.
National Paranormal Day. So I'm like, let's celebrate by having our radio show.
Yeah, exactly. Which would have happened anyway, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Don't
But I
give away our secret day.
I know, right? It was we planned it. But no, I mean normally, we would have done something had we had time to say, hey, we got to plan to go do something, but this year it's just not happening.
Yeah, well, we are participating in the National Ghost Hunting Day, though, which this year lands on, I believe it's September 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be participating in that.
Cool.
Next year, we'll just have to plan something for Paranormal Day, which honestly, I completely forgot. I forgot. Last year, I made a comment about it, but I totally forgot it existed. And I know that's sad because we're part of the paranormal field.
Yeah, I know, but if it's not something that's in the front of your mind, or if it's not written down, it's on the calendar.
If it's not on the calendar.
Yeah, or Facebook doesn't tell you. You know what I mean? You know how life is now.
Right.
People are so dependent on these cues and reminders for everything. It's unless it's a huge event, you're like, I didn't know that, or crap, that's today.
Right.
My court date was today. Crap.
Oh God, that's a bad thing to miss. All right, so we are going to go ahead and try to bring in the Webb Paranormal Group. I'm not sure who all they have, so we will have to allow them to introduce themselves and all.
So they don't have everybody.
I really am kind of clueless.
Okay.
I know our Stan's going to be there.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens. I'm trying to add them right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully this works. I hate it when things don't work.
Yeah.
Okay, well, apparently it's not answering because, Skype is Skype.
That's true.
And it shows that I added, so we'll just have to wait a few and see what happens. Okay, Dave, talk.
I'm just looking. I'm looking to see if I missed anything real quick in the chat, but I didn't. Because somebody busted in the room, and I was like, "What's going on? Do I need to run? Is there a fire? What's going on?" But there's no fire. Dog just had to pee or chase a rabbit or something. Because I always close the door, and I tell them, if you have to come in, it's fine. It's not going to be a big deal.
Why do you bring up the weirdest things?
That's not weird. People have to pee. Dogs pee.
Well, I know
they
that.
chase rabbits.
Why do you have to talk about that on the radio?
Oh, is there a better time, like over dinner? Is that? Oh, don't even get me started on dinner conversations at our house, man. Well,
I don't want to know dinner
in
conversations
general.
at your house when you bring up on the radio about dogs peeing.
Yeah, conversations at our house are just. Well, my wife doesn't participate. She just tunes us out, basically. But my son and I will just. It gets really weird really fast. It'll go on for an hour. It's just. We feed off each other.
Hours here, so
Yeah, it gets bad. And then we're like, what are we talking about? How did this even start? And how did it go so far? It's
because
not
it's
right.
You.
Apparently.
It's you, and
can't
you
just
do
be
the
though.
Weirdest thing. I swear.
I think it's just dudes in general. I mean, there are a few, women that I've run across, over the years that are like, they're right in there and they just blend right in and it just feels normal as can be. But most of the time they don't participate. They're like, I don't want any part of whatever this is turning into.
Yeah, I don't blame them. And my husband Will just walked in the door from work today. So hi, Will.
Oh, you don't get to take her to dinner.
Yeah. He heard that and he's saying that you don't get to take me to dinner. That's his reaction.
What did I miss?
Because you were saying dinner conversations, and I said I wouldn't want to join you for dinner.
Oh. I was like, what?
So Will said that you don't get to take me to dinner.
Well, that'd be a long drive.
I heard that, and he's saying that you don't get to take me to dinner. That's his reaction. Oh, I hear someone. Do we got our guest on the line?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I'm not sure I got us.
I think we got you now.
We have at least Stan, right?
Got Teresa too.
Okay, Teresa, how are you, Teresa?
All right. I'm trying to add the others, so hang on just a minute.
Yeah, just bear with us just a sec.
There are others.
There are others.
Awesome.
We have two more coming. Hang on.
Yeah, all of our group couldn't be on, and that's probably a good thing because there's not enough room on Skype.
Right.
Yeah, Skype doesn't like us to begin with half the time, so you know we want to remain friends with Skype.
We don't want Skype to start twitching out.
Yeah.
I
have to throw a shout out to my husband. He just made me a strawberry daiquiri.
Where's mine, Will?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Shawana.
Yes.
And Vera.
And Vera, yep.
All right, guys, y'all are on the air.
Oh, I guess I better behave.
Explained.
You don't have to behave.
Shawana, you got to look out for. Okay.
Nah.
Okay, I'm
Look out for
behave.
Shawana.
No. So how is everyone tonight?
Wonderful.
We're great. We're blessed.
Awesome. Glad to
We're
hear it.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
we just want to welcome
Teresa-
you to the show.
Well, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having it.
Of course. So
It's kind of
everyone
me,
knows in internet world and radio world or whatever you want to call it. Can you all introduce yourselves and tell us who's here and what you do in the paranormal group?
Go ahead, Stan.
Sure. I'm Stan Fikes. I'm the lead hippie in the group, and and I do all kinds of stuff pertaining to the group. I'm mostly there for someone to blame. So if anything goes wrong, I'm the one to blame.
That's an important role to fill, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know that's okay. I tell them blame me for everything. So, but that's mainly what I do. Lead investigator, that type of thing. So, and trying to teach everybody how to be hippie like me.
Awesome.
You don't have
All right.
to teach me.
Teresa, what do you do?
Okay. I'm Teresa Fikes, and I'm married to this idiot sitting beside of me. And yes, I do blame him for a lot of things.
We've heard.
And I am the marketing manager of Webb Paranormal and Wiregrass Hunts.
Okay, cool.
Very cool.
I do all our website designs as well.
Which I am on right now. It's looking pretty cool.
Thank you. I still got a lot of work to do. I also do a bit of historical work and research for them.
Oh, nice. You can never have too much of that, man.
And I always bring the homemade chili.
That's right. Everybody likes their homemade chili. But she also is the one that comes up with all the trivia questions.
The ones that no one can get.
Right. One can't answer.
Right.
So.
Okay, and then next, we're going to save Shawana for last, so let's let Vera go next.
Okay, well, I'm Vera Haney. I'm an older hippie than Stan, so we won't even go there. But
She's a double hippie.
one of the originals, made my own bell bottoms. I'm in training as far as investigating, doing some camera work, and I have a bit of personal experience.
A bit.
Y'all, that lady's house is more active than the White House.
Yes. This house is the most haunted place we've been.
Oh, wow.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I don't
not,
know.
but
Yeah.
Well, I guess if I were to have a choice, if I was given an option, live in a normal, boring house or live in one that has a lot of history and there's a lot of activity, give me the activity. Just I've already experienced it. Just it's kind of what I'm used to. And every time we move to a different place, I'm like, oh, I hope there's activity.
It makes for never a dull moment.
Exactly. You always have something to do.
Okay. Now, Shawana.
Uh-oh.
Y'all make sure
You
answer
better
what
behave.
right now.
Well,
What
right now, I am Shawana. I am putting fuel in the truck because I am a truck driver. But what I do in the group, I am a demon dancer. I am a paranormal queen.
I just Googled demon dancer. Sorry. Oh, and there's Shawana. Oh, she's right on the front. Oh, awesome.
No, I do whatever that they need me to do. I'm one of the investigators. I do the house cleansing when we need to. I try to stay sane if it's possible, and I just try to behave.
See, I like the word. I like the word try. Yeah. I like the word try.
Try. That's like Dave trying to be normal. It never happens.
I gave up.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, ask Shawana her stripper name.
Ooh, yeah. What is that stripper name there, Shawana?
Pork chops with extra gravy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But look, somebody's got to fund the group. So thanks,
Right.
Pork chops.
Right. If I got to work 6 corners, whatever.
You're up to 6 corners now, Dave?
We just told you to do 3.
6 corners? Really?
Yeah, well, see, they did some construction in the area, and they added a few, and they weren't taken yet. So I thought if I don't jump on it right now, then I'm gonna have competition. So I'm like, my mind was like, I'm on it.
I've only been advertising 3, though.
I know. You totally did not communicate that with us, Dave.
Well, that's because I'm pocketing the other 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Wow.
You just better give us the best 3, okay?
Right? There you go. There you go.
Wow. I learned something new about Dave today.
So did I.
I don't think we learned it. I think we knew. We just tried to avoid it.
Well, I have that effect on people. I bring that out. That's what a demon dancer does. She brings it out.
And then it's up to you as to what you do with it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I can run with that.
Well, at this point, we need to look at the books because we're not getting paid enough.
Right.
I know that's right.
Oh, my goodness. Now I can see the phone calls coming in. What corner is Dave on tonight?
Right.
That's a long drive unless you're in the DC area. So, and it's dark now, so you won't see me. I don't have a light. I don't stand under like a lamppost, I keep it down low.
That's what they've been saying.
Isn't there a website that we can go and see the cameras?
Yeah, that's true. You could just hook up to one of the cameras. Is that him? Is that him right there? I think that's him.
That's it. Yeah.
Just look for the bearded dude in dress.
Sniffing shoes.
Yeah, right. Terrible. All right, moving on. So, did we talk to everybody yet?
Yes, everybody that's online.
Okay.
But we do have
cool.
a few more first. You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna introduce our entire group, even though the ones that aren't here. So,
And hope I don't forget
Okay.
anybody.
Go for it.
Lord, I haven't had much. Okay. We have Zach Roach, who is also a cameraman. We have Laura Hill, who is also an investigator in training. Tiagra, also an investigator and researcher in training. And we have Matt King, who is a cameraman, and he helps us do the evidence, and he also helps us do some of the research for the property back tax. Michael, and she will tell you in a heartbeat that she is a girl, but her name is Michael, and she is our paranormal accountant.
Somehow I think that needs a little explanation.
Well, okay, we know what it means.
She is an accountant by profession, and she helps keep our bookwork straight. And anything has to do with accounting and money and fundraising, she's in charge of it.
Awesome.
And then we have a co-founder. Gotten anyone?
No, I don't think it.
Sounds like someone's
I don't know
bowling.
what-
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah,
We keep hearing that.
pretty weird right now.
Someone's
I
being
just wonder if
abducted.
right?
I said
We
someone's
still
being
want 'em.
abducted.
Let's
Is that
scuba
Shawana?
dive a paranormal person.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, huh? That's what it sounds like.
Vera, are you at home?
20,000 leagues under the sea.
Right.
Vera, are you at home? Vera?
Yes. Yes.
So,
I'm here.
is
Can't
there
hear very
someone in your house trying to talk to us?
Oh God, I hope not.
Is there somebody else with me? Is that what you're saying?
Is there
I don't
somebody
know.
in your house trying to communicate? You think?
I have no idea. Alicia's got a bruise that she doesn't know how she got. You know, that's fine.
Normal stuff.
Right.
So it
Reason we
sounds like
said
it's
that.
just like another day at your house.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Things in her house don't like me, Dave.
What reason did you
serious.
give them, Stan?
I was in there. That's the only. I mean, I was investigating, and that's how we met Miss Vera. And I was. My hair was yanked in her hallway. I was pushed against the wall. I was hollered at. It was not a good time for me when I was in her house.
But based on some of my experiences in my life, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone doesn't like you.
No,
I mean, my hair's been pulled. I've been pushed and yelled at, and it was quite the opposite.
Well,
They're just trying to get your attention.
Right. But it is very possible that they don't like you, Stan. Sadly,
right.
It's a possibility, brother.
You know, when you're in an investigation and you can feel that male female thing.
Oh, they were both.
This was total male. Total male.
Okay. I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
Right. So that entity was a male, and it didn't like me in the house. That was for sure. But
so was it
we
just
forgot.
you?
Do I? Yeah. At that point, there was just me. Just me in the house, and whatever it was, whatever the entity was, didn't like me being in there asking questions and that type of thing.
Also, we need to mention Trista Yates, who is our photographer and co-host on Wiregrass Haunts.
Right. I don't see how we forgot her.
And Michelle, and she is a camera person in training.
Sorry, guys, we didn't mean to forget y'all.
You didn't forget them. You got to them.
Yeah. But no, Miss Vera's house is really, really, I try not to say the word haunted, but if there's ever a house that was haunted, hers is.
Mm. So did anybody else, does it not like anybody else? The male entity there, is it pissy with anybody else, or is it still just you, or do you know?
It was.
Go ahead, Vera. Go ahead.
It was aggressive towards my grandson.
Hmm.
or something was, but one time. Stan and Teresa know about that with with him
Right.
getting pulled under the bed, that kind of thing. But other than that, males that would come into the house, they would feel uncomfortable, a heavy feeling,
Mhm.
but nothing physical.
Hey, Dave, you need to come down and visit Vera some.
Well, that sounds like a plan.
Oh, if you dare, right?
Well, now I want to visit her house too. Yeah,
Right.
that sounds cool.
Um, it is very, very active, and that, like I said, that's how we met Miss Vera, and we went back a couple of times, and of course, you go through and do a cleansing. You almost have to do a cleansing on her house daily to keep things at bay.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy, and we tell people this, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Well, no, seriously, this house is. I don't see how she lives there.
Yeah,
I
that was going to
ignore
be
a
my
lot of
next
stuff.
question. How does that affect you, like living in that house? Are you just accustomed to it and it doesn't bother you anymore, or are you every
I,
day like, why am I here?
well, I'm accustomed to a lot of it, but if it gets bothersome, I pray a lot, and then I'll go through and cleanse the house, spray my holy water, and
Mhm.
we've got some sage that we can burn also, and Stan provided me with a very nice prayer that I can go around and say throughout the house, and it helps for a while.
Very cool. So it's kind of like, is it like a revolving door type of thing? They just kind of come and go, or is it the same spirits, or are they different, or do you know?
I know they're different, and I pretty much think there's a portal somewhere that I don't know about, and I don't know where or how to keep it closed. So we just pray a lot, and um, mostly it keeps things calmed down where it's not too bothersome.
That's cool. I wonder, there should be an app for that by now, like Find My Portal in my house.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean they got all kinds of apps these days. That'd be pretty sweet.
There's an app for everything. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Um, well, as far as a portal goes in her house, I do tend to agree somewhat with that. We couldn't actually determine where the energy was actually originating from because it moving and it was strong here, and it was like moving every few minutes, and we caught um, an apparition in the living room. It was on a still photo, and honestly, Dave, that just to look at the photo, it gives you the heebie-jeebies. And I've been in a whole bunch of places that you shouldn't have gone, and I've never felt like that until I went in her house.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been in some real creepy places, and had no problems whatsoever until I got to her house.
Well, this time you
So,
actually got in the green room, Stan. How did you feel down there?
honestly, I was sickened. I mean, I couldn't stay in there very long. When
Yeah.
I went and took the batteries to Teresa for the spirit box, I had to go. I couldn't hang around. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it was just like it was nagging at me. It was pulling at me, and honestly, I went back outside, and I felt okay outside, but the whole time I was in the house, and honestly, that's the reason I say I don't think it likes me for whatever reason. And I don't think I gave it a reason not to like me, or maybe it's just its nature. I don't know.
Well,
Well,
that
is it?
room,
Go ahead.
yeah, that room is very oppressive. I slept down there for about a year. In the first week or two, I had to sleep with my hand on an open Bible
Wow,
just to be able to sleep.
that's
So,
crazy. So is it just typically the males that get this treatment, or has it happened to females as well?
It's happened to females before.
Oh,
My
okay.
daughter has been awakened with a man apparition holding her down
Mm.
and woke up screaming. And that was like maybe when she was 19. She's 31 now.
Wow. So this has been going on for a while.
Ever since we moved in the house, there's been something happening.
I did the
So-
research on her house, and it's
That was
been
that was
happening
my
long,
question.
long
Good.
before Vera bought the house. There was actually a death of a child in the house before Vera bought it. She didn't know this at the time. They did not tell her. But the child was in the 4th grade. His name was Mitchell, and he accidentally shot himself.
That's sad.
A couple of houses down the road, they had 6 children. 3 were not in school. 3 were in school. During the day, their house caught fire and the 3 younger children died. Across the road, the main road, there was a teenager that hung himself. And on the same road that she lives on at the very end down there, there was another teenage boy that hung himself.
Wow.
And this was all before Vera moved in.
Well, that explains why you can feel that heaviness. Some people can feel it before they even get to the house. That explains a lot.
And I can't prove it, but the hearsay is that the graveyard that is across the road was actually where Vera's house is now.
Oh,
And
great.
That.
If everything else, if that was enough,
So we don't know.
It's amazing, though.
Oh, yeah.
So we know how she got involved in the paranormal, but what about the rest of you? What got you guys involved? What made you want to do what you're doing?
Shawana, you want to say something first? Shawana?
Yeah,
you
I had
want?
to put it on mute so you guys could hear.
Oh,
For
okay.
me, I grew up in a haunted house in Mobile, Alabama. We actually had 2 ghosts called Spectre and Marty that lived with us. And when I lived in Hartford, we had something that ran around the house. And actually, the first part, the front of the house and the back of the house, it was like 2 different houses. And the funny thing is, growing up, I have siblings, and we weren't close growing up. We're close now. We all can tell the same story about how the difference in the house was. And I've always been curious. I have an uncle that was a witch doctor. My mother and grandmother and everybody was open to spirits. So it was just a fascination for me.
So it was kind of part of your life at a young age then.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, okay,
Absolutely.
cool. So did that freak you out though?
Did it freak me out?
Yeah, like when you were being at a young age and all this stuff going on, or did you just accept it for what it was? Did someone
Not really,
talk to you
'cause my
about
mom
it, or?
No, they made it okay. Like if something weird happened, for instance, especially in Hartford, this is because my memory is shot, but this is one of the earliest memories. I was a teenager, and my uncle was dying. He had a stroke some years earlier, but he'd begin, the process of dying.
Mhm.
And we were sitting in the den watching the TV, and out the corner of my eye, I saw a tall, broad-shouldered man, because I turned to look, see who it was, and it was going in my uncle's room. And my mom said, "You saw it too?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "That's my dad," which was my uncle's brother. Now, my granddaddy was dead when I was born. But my mother always told us a story about how she would get real sick. Her daddy would show up and she would get better. So when things did happen, it wasn't like, shunned on. It was like, "Oh, I saw it too. Don't worry about it. He's going in there and he's talking to Uncle Walter." And sure enough, Uncle Walter's talking to to whomever, well, to her dad that went in there. So we even though I still have fear, don't get me wrong, I'm not Superwoman. I will take off running, but it wasn't a bad thing for us. We were, it was okay. If we seen something, we were believed. We wasn't, told, well, no, you don't see that. So even though I'm a little scary, I'm not as scary as I would have been if it wasn't something that was okay with my family.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's good. That's good that it was talked about and you guys accepted it for what it was, and it made it a lot better. I think it had it been the opposite, I think you would have had a lot more problems with it.
Right.
That's good. That's cool. Awesome.
You want me to go next? I can do that, I think.
Go
Mine's
for it.
a lot different. My family pretty much believed that it was very bad if you had any special gifts. So whenever I started demonstrating some, it was a hush hush deal. Don't say that. You will be kicked out of the church. You'll be shunned. You don't do stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember as young as 4 years old, I was having very vivid dreams that would actually come true. It might take a while, but they did come true. And I had memories of things from the past that I couldn't explain. And then one day I would hear about something that happened in history, and I'm like, oh, I remember that. And I remembered that it wasn't something that I read. It was something that I seen in my mind of what had happened, and it was very vivid. And then come to find out as I was a teenager that my mother also had these same gifts. And it was shunned, don't say anything. Don't do anything about it. And so I decided to try to work on it and see what happened. And it opened up some pretty bad things that it took me a long, long time to get over. So now what I'm trying to do is use those gifts for good to help people.
Oh, that's awesome. So when you were working through that, when you were having, a hard time with it, was there anyone there to help you through those times, or were you just kind of on your own?
Pretty much on my own.
Mm.
Because, like I said, I couldn't talk to anybody because I was told by my parents, don't tell nobody this or we'll be shunned.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Yes. Well, I guess what made me start looking is I had a godmother who was of a different faith, and she was Baptist. I say that she was Baptist, and she told me that she too had a special gift and that it was given to her by God. Or one way I was being taught was it was not from God.
Gotcha.
And I should. And so she's, I guess, with her kind of encouraging me and making me feel more relaxed, I began to kind of experiment with it. And it got to where I could do things on call instead of by accident. But then because it opened up a lot of doors that it shouldn't have, and I had a lot of problems due to that, I didn't know how to control opening and closing those doors.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn that part pretty much on my own.
I bet that was a long process, wasn't it?
It was. It was. And I guess as I use it, it becomes stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm. So you're all good and comfortable with it now?
Not at all times.
Oh.
No, I wouldn't say I'm completely comfortable with it. No, because in certain situations, it can get out of control.
What do you mean by out of control?
It means if I try to open up too much I let too much in, more than I can handle.
Oh, okay.
So my thing is I try to stand off and kind of watch. And then if there's a child involved, then I'm there. And wherever the child is, I stay with the child. Because I can see what is coming.
So
Does that make sense? I don't know
it
how to
does.
explain it.
It does. And so given that, if you're with a child, if there's a child involved, and you already know sometimes you don't want to open up too much, you'll go that extra distance for the child, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because if
Yes.
you don't know, it's kind of a catch-22 because you want to help, you want to go that extra, you want to open up more and go that extra distance, but at the same time, you don't know what you're going to get. So that's got to be a weird position to be in that moment.
Right. When it changes the minute that there's a child involved, I become the protector.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Well, that's awesome. It's really cool that I wish I would have had. Well, maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe it's probably a blessing and a curse at the same time. But at the same time, I don't have that. So I kind of want to say, yeah, I wish I did. But maybe I don't. I don't know.
And it's really strange because I was raised in a very religious background, I guess you say, very strict, and then I could sense all this stuff. But then when you hear Stan, you're gonna say
8:00.
That's my computer, by the way, reminded me what time it is.
I was like,
You-
wow,
you're
her
gonna
voice
laugh.
just got weird. Somebody must be coming through.
But anyway, you're gonna laugh when you've heard my background, and then you hear Stan's. They're gonna clash. It clashes, okay?
You guys are
It's
yin
bad.
and yang.
Yes,
Yick and yak.
yes. Because you gotta remember, I said when there's children involved, I go into the protector mode. And by the way, Stan and I have 6 children and 15 grandchildren, so you'll understand that.
Yeah, now it's starting to click a little bit now. Yeah, for sure.
Then we got cable.
Yeah. Okay, Stan.
Well, it all started whenever I was a little kid. No, actually, I was a teenager when my interest was kind of forced on me, per se. I met some of my friends one day, and they said that there was a group of people they wanted to introduce me to. So we went to play basically at this old packing house. And we were climbing the walls and so on and so forth. This thing's like 6 stories high. We climbed all the way to the top, and there was 4 guys that were standing on top of the building. And at that point, they introduced me to devil worship, basically. This is something I used to have a problem telling people, but not anymore. It's just a part of my history. So these people invited me in and showed me all the blissful stuff that you would do to entice a young kid into something like that. Well, for 5.5 years, I was probably the biggest devil worshiper you wanted to see. I witnessed some very, very hideous things. I hear, and I'm not picking on demonologists at all, but I hear them talking about, with these demons manifesting and stuff like that. I was in a group. These priests, as you would call them, were commanding these demons forward. They were manifesting right in front of my face, and it was the most hideous thing that I've ever seen in my life. But yet I wasn't really scared. It was all really, really interesting to me. Well, kind of to shorten things up a little bit, my mother one day, I walked in the house and I started having problems with my grades and getting into other stuff. But my mother one day, she said, something's wrong with you. And so she called me in the kitchen, and I never understood how my mother knew this, but she had me to sit in a chair in the middle of the kitchen. And then all of a sudden, these people coming out of the woodworks in the house, they were her church. She was raised in a holiness church. And they started praying over me and that type of thing. Honestly, I don't remember when the prayers ended. I just remember waking up in the bed. Well, I thought I was done with that. I went through my teenage years, in my early adult life and stuff. And then I had a visitor, and it was a demon. That's the only thing I could call it. And he used to sit on the side of the bed and talk to me at night. Well, then it started terrorizing some of the kids. And then it moved to some of the grandkids when they were born. So I said, this is enough. And I saw it help to help control this. But then I started meeting other people that were having similar situations. So at that point, I decided to try to help them as well. So the more I done that, the more and more I got into the paranormal. And honestly, at first, it scared the daylights out of me. But with my wife, when she and I got together, it was a big clash. There for a long time, we never talked about our beliefs that much, or religious issues or anything like that. It led to a couple of arguments and that type of thing. So we tried to avoid it.
Arguments is saying it mildly.
Yeah. So then I managed to open up enough for her to kind of teach me about her background and about different things that she experienced. And I got to thinking, there's no way under the sun I'm going to let her experience anything that I had. Mm-hmm. It was just, everything was just so hideous, grotesque to the farthest measure. So we just kind of kept things to ourselves, mainly me. But Teresa and I got to talking, and we finally opened up. And one day I said, I wouldn't mind being in a paranormal group, because we used to watch the shows on TV, and I started out watching Ghost Adventures and stuff like that. I see now why I shouldn't have, but
right.
I was trying to be nice. So, I watched a whole bunch of the shows. And I told her one day, I said, yeah, it would be nice to be in a paranormal group. And so I was at work the very next day, and she sent me a link to Craigslist, and somebody was advertising for a paranormal investigator. Okay. So that's just kind of weird. So yeah. I answered the call, and sure enough, the guy was just getting started, and we actually went and done an investigation, and honestly, y'all, I found out I knew more than he did. But we kind of worked through things, and then he decided that he didn't want to do it anymore. So the very next day, me and Teresa said, well, why don't we start our own group? And it started out with 4 people: myself, Teresa, Shawana, and Chris Wood. And it has now just blossomed into something that is, we stay so busy uh, trying to help people, and that's the whole basis of our group. We want to help people because there's not a lot of people out there that listen to people when they say, I've got things running around in my house, or there's pictures falling off our walls and stuff. So we're there for them, and with you guys being in the same field, it's not something that people really want to talk about too much out in the public. Really, they got ghosts in their house or something. Somebody's going to call them they're nuts, and so we try to listen to everybody, and that's gotten us in deep on a couple of them. But listening to everybody, but so that's the main reason that I got per se back in it. Of course, I'm a Christian, and I'm way away from that devil worship thing. That's just a part of my past that I learned from, and so now we've just got this big group going that we try to help people to understand what they're facing, and the people that have all the negative stuff going on, we try to, if we can't help them, we get them in touch with somebody that can.
Right.
And that's the whole basis of how our group was founded. And I know if Trista and some of the others could talk to you right now, they would tell you that this group has helped more people here in the last year than you could really realize. I mean, and then I'm not talking about just me. Sometimes some of the other members that they run into people that are really, really experiencing and having bad problems, and some of the sensitives and empaths in the group, they're wonderful to help people. So
I don't want to. Okay, bath. Let's go. I didn't eat yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
So that was me. So I'm gonna shut up and let y'all ask questions or whatever y'all want to do. That starts to run long. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I actually just had a question because based on, and you do realize that you probably wouldn't be where you are today if it hadn't been for all the things that you went through, in your past. So it all comes, forward, and it is what it is now, and it's awesome. But do you feel like you would be anywhere paranormal wise if none of that would have happened? I mean, because a lot of people, it's in you, but it's just kind of waiting to come out. And a lot of people don't want anything to do with it. I don't know which side of the fence you would have been on.
Well, honestly, with my family, there was instances, and I have photographs of my grandparents and stuff where there's things in the photographs that my uncles they call them spirits and ghosts and stuff, and they all occurred in the houses that I grew up in with my grandparents and my mom and stuff and my dad. But none of that really interested me, and none of it really affected me per se. My whole stint with the devil, the devil made me do it. That time, and literally that's the truth. The devil made me do it, and if I hadn't experienced that, I probably wouldn't be in the paranormal. No, I probably wouldn't.
Okay. Fair enough.
So it's been a long road, and it's getting longer every day.
Well, good. A lot of good has come from that road. So you know what I mean. It might have been a weird long road, but right now, that's a good road, and there's a lot of sunshine ahead. So good for you guys, and I commend you for everything that you do for everybody, because that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And also, if I hadn't experienced all that stuff, I wouldn't be producing y'all's radio show.
Right, exactly, and I say this all the time, and I know people get sick of hearing it, but I always have to say it. At least I don't know, probably every other show, maybe, I don't know, but everything that in your past has led up to where you are right now. And had one thing gone differently, who knows what would have happened? What path would have opened up, or what road you would have taken, or what would have come from that. So every single thing in your life that's gone on has brought you to where you are in this moment right now, like for everyone. So it's just really weird when you start to think about that. At least for me it is, but whatever.
It is. It's weird, and it's. I don't understand. Well, it had to all be tied in with Teresa and I getting together, because
Hmm.
that's probably one of the biggest blessings in my life.
Right.
And with even though we have differences in our background and still we have some differences in our beliefs and stuff. Of course, we both compromise in ways, but I think that's a plus. That's a positive thing within our relationship.
For sure.
We're like anybody else, so I take her off, she's going to cuss me out, that type of thing.
Right.
And maybe not in a sense, but
Yeah.
We kind of connect and we repel each other, if you get what I mean.
Hmm.
Everything we try to make as positive, and that's what we put towards this group, so we can help other people. And if it hadn't have been for our past, like you said, there's no way we would be together. I wouldn't be doing the paranormal. Honestly, I probably would be dead.
Right. And I was thinking along exact same lines, because I'm kind of like, as you're talking about the things and just the way things went and just in order and all that good stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, I wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? If things would have been different, there's no way. And I can definitely attribute that to my wife for sure. Like, no doubt about it. Like, this is what it is. I mean, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I wouldn't be here. Or I would just be locked up for life, probably, for something stupid. But I'm guessing I just wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to think about, but
I'm definitely a blessed man now. So
absolutely.
we just run around here having fun, helping people, brother.
That's awesome.
And I would like, when we're helping people, we don't give out loans.
Oh, Lord.
We don't give out loans.
That was what I was going to ask next. Can I get a loan?
We have had people come to us say, well, they need help. They need some financial help. I guess what we need to do is start Shawana, because she has a credit repair company.
No. I referred these people to Zach Bagans.
Oh.
He's the only one that I know.
That's awesome. Oh man. So I wonder what would make people ask such a question like that. I mean, seriously?
I don't know. Because we tell them that we do all this for free. We volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we have a bunch of things.
I sat and talked with these people 3 hours on the phone, and it was like 12:30 before I went to bed, and I had to work the next day. But I was trying to help these people work out their issues. Well, we were involved in 3 other cases at the time, and we couldn't go to North Alabama at that point. And they called me 3, 4, 5 times a day. You're going to have to help us. You're going to have to help us. Well, I was, working on getting them another team that was closer and that type of thing. And this person called me. And in fact, I was on the phone with Terry Todd when they did call. And, this guy messaged me and said that he needed help. And I said, look, I'm trying to get you some help, brother. He says, no, I need financial help. And I'm like, really? How in the world? I'll buy somebody food, clothes, give them a place to stay, that type of thing. But I'm just not. First off, if I had the cash, I'm not going to roll out there and here's you a couple $1,000. Go get,
Right.
And I don't understand why in the world somebody would see a paranormal group to call and say I have spirits running all over my house, and then say, "Hey, well, can you make me a loan?" No.
I don't think they really wanted a loan. I think they just want you to give them the money.
Well,
Yeah, probably.
It back.
Yeah. It just makes you wonder, like, how did we get to that point? How did we get from, hey, I need help with some paranormal problems to, hey, can I have some money?
right.
That's just so weird.
Really went over. What did any of us say anything that implied that we were giving out money?
Right.
I went over everything, make sure there was nothing on anything we have that said we give out money. There's nothing on there.
Nothing.
Yeah, because that would just be stupid, right? I mean, yeah, we'll just give you money. Call us up. Yeah, that'd be weird.
You'll be the most popular paranormal group ever.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And the most in debt.
My ghost to disappear.
Now, I've heard of so-called, and I call them so-called because I don't believe in this, but I've heard of so-called paranormal groups charging people and asking for money, but I've never heard of people calling paranormal groups asking for money. That's a new one.
It was like we were talking with them and they said that, and then everything just got quiet, and we're like, what did you say?
You just said a bad word.
Yeah, bad word. And of course, at that point, I ended it. I let them know, good luck with your paranormal needs. I don't have funds to give you. And then he was like, oh, well, we need to help with us. No. You need to find you another group. And you're better off if you find one closer to you and that type of thing. And, I really wanted to say, well, we'll come investigate for $1 billion.
Right.
But no, and so, and Terry was actually on Teresa's phone at the time, and we were having a conversation, and Terry just chuckled whenever he heard everything that went on, and he just chuckled. He says, I cannot believe that someone said that.
Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing, man. I can't imagine that. First of all, being able to ask someone that, number one, and number two, assuming that that's going to happen.
It's beyond me. I mean, I thought for 2 weeks, what in the hell would somebody think? Why would they even think that I would have the money to do that? But no, sorry.
It kind of makes you wonder, though, if maybe they do that. Like maybe that's just what they do. Like maybe they call up paranormal teams and then just like they exactly what they did to you, just to see what they could get. And maybe it doesn't even stop at a paranormal team. Maybe it's just, who knows. Either way, it's stupid wrong. But I don't know these people, but it's just weird that someone would even do that.
Well, they were probably watching too much TV and had too much alcohol.
That's a very good point.
They might have thought, well, since the paranormal team on TV has money, maybe Webb Paranormal has money.
Yeah, right. I thought about
and
that.
And the alcohol told them to call us.
Exactly. The devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it. Exactly.
Yep. My God.
That's nonsense. Yeah. I mean, have you guys ever run into that at all?
No.
No, it doesn't sound familiar at all to me.
I mean, Will and I are the ones that take all the incoming calls and meet with the clients. We've ran into some very strange people, so to say, but never anyone to ask for money.
Hello.
Wow.
So.
Well, I'm glad, and I'm going to say this, Shawana. I kind of turned over all the residential investigations to Shawana. She's in charge of them, and she does gets the calls, and does the interviews, and so on and so forth. I'm glad because I don't really want to deal with that part of it, simply because of those people that ask me for money. And I got to thinking, well, what if they really needed it? And if I could have helped in some way, and then you're back to the devil made you do it, and so You know.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like if they really needed the help, that would have been like the last, people you would expect them to ask. It's just some random paranormal team that they called up. It
Don't
just
they know
seems a
we're
little
all
weird.
poor? We are non-profit. I mean, how are we going to have all this money?
Exactly. We are definitely in debt, nonprofit.
Yeah.
So it's beyond me. So, I mean, I wish these people the best, and if they're listening, of course, I'm not saying any names. Y'all know who you are, but I hope you got your paranormal needs taken care of, if indeed you had those. But there's always food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
And your local church groups.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody besides Webb Paranormal.
Yeah,
We're broke.
exactly. Anybody but Webb Paranormal.
If they need food, I got plenty of food.
Mm-hmm.
I can share food. We live on a hobby farm.
Yeah, I mean, chickens, goats, hogs, pig, anything you can think of. And I'll help them with some food. I can even come up with them a place to stay. But money, no.
Right.
Not happening. We give all our money to our grandkids.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
That's why I give all mine to my wife.
Well, I gave all mine to my wife, and my wife distributes it to our grandchildren.
Well,
That's
next
what
they're
she
going to
was
be
just.
calling their grandchildren asking for money.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I told them
Definitely.
all, make sure they get a good education, because they're going to be like a bank.
Yep. There's going to be that one phone call you get one day.
Right? And I'm going to say, hey, remember all the times you came to Papa and said, Papa, can I borrow or can I have? Yeah,
Mhm.
well, payback.
Right. What do you think about that?
I do have to say, being married does have its perks, because when the guys are on the corner of the street asking for money, can you spare a few cents? All I got to do is say, I'm married. And they go, oh, shit, let me give you some money.
Mm.
Thanks a lot, honey.
I got to try that. Oh, hell. Yeah. All right, my wife's pointing at me now. So, Will, thank you.
Well, what
Don't
finger is she
blame
pointing
Will's
at
in
you
the
with?
doghouse now too.
I guess it all depends on what
right.
finger she's pointing at him with.
I can tell you what finger I always point at Will with.
Right?
The same one I give to you, Dave.
Oh.
Oh, mine's a
That's
little more
your
animated.
Yeah, she she was pointing with her pointy finger, but it was real staunch, but I wouldn't have it any other way though. It makes life interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you could hear that evil laugh she just had too.
Mhm.
Not me.
Right. So, Shawana, where are you at? Why don't you talk?
She's muted us again.
I'm here. I'm trying not to run people over. I was letting you guys. What do y'all want to talk about?
No, that's why she muted it, so we wouldn't hear her run people over. That's the real.
Yeah,
that's
no
real.
witnesses.
Yep,
No
exactly.
witnesses.
No sounds, nothing.
Yes, no witnesses. I'm at my creepy spot.
Oh, yeah. The
You know, I
creepy
hate getting to this spot. You guys know why.
spot.
I hate it. It just makes me feel bad.
Wow.
So, has anybody ever had any paranormal experiences inside of a vehicle?
No.
I was told a story, but I've never actually experienced it myself. I was told by a guy, and this was before I even moved home. I lived in South Carolina. I moved home to Dothan to be closer to my mom once my job transferred. But a guy was talking about he was buying a car, and there was in the back seat. Now I don't know if the story was true, but he said he he wound up wrecking the car. But because of her being in the back seat, he swerved or something like that. But I remember that story because it was a red car.
Was
But I
that
haven't never had any. I've had quite a few experiences in the car that I can't say over the radio, but never any paranormal experiences. Yeah.
Well, I just
Was
asked that because. Go ahead.
Was that at Bellwood Bridge?
Did I have
Shawana,
any experience at Bellwood?
Was that incident at Bellwood Bridge?
No. That was the guy when I lived up in this guy was up in South Carolina, even before Webb Paranormal got together. And it only popped up when he asked the question about, having an experience in the car, a paranormal experience, not a, bad girl experience.
Yeah.
Well, when you were talking about a vehicle, that made me ask the question because I've had an experience in a car that was really, really weird, and I couldn't explain it. And I heard some rustling and stuff like that. It was like it was like a series of events that panned out. From driving down the road, and I kept hearing something. I was the only one in the car. I kept hearing like this rustling around back there. So I was like, hey, whatever, it's probably something back there. But I looked again because I kept hearing it, and there was nothing back there moving around. So fast forward, a couple minutes. And then there was a kick on the back of the seat, which, just really freaked me out. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'd had so many experiences before that. It didn't really bother me. I was just trying to figure out like who it was and what was going on. But that I had since sold that car. But the person I sold the car to, I never mentioned any of that to him, obviously. I'm not going to say that. But they contacted me later and said, hey, have you ever had any weird stuff in that car? And I'm like, we need to talk, But it was really cool because they were having some of the same experiences, the rustling around, and they could hear stuff back there. And I thought that was really cool. That's why I asked because, you're talking about driving and stuff like that, and it just kind of like it jumped in my brain again.
So I thought about a red car named Christine.
Right.
Maybe that's how that movie came about. I haven't had an experience in the car, but outside the car. When my daughter was a teenager, we went to a Zion cemetery, and we had walked around, and there was supposed to be experiences there. So we were just sitting there with the engine running, and her door, it was like somebody from the outside was trying to open the door. Well, we just took off. I wasn't going to stick around and see
you ain't
what
getting in. They're just standing there like, wait.
So did you leave it and drive when you went up there anyway?
Well, no, it was in park, but it got in drive real quick, okay?
I know what cemetery you're talking about, and
the one at the Zion Cemetery, out off of Fortner.
Yes,
right.
Yes, they won't let you go in there anymore. They got it all blocked off.
Yeah, I can imagine why.
And the old man that owns the place now is having the cemetery moved, and he said he's tired of all. No. He says he's tired of all the people going back there playing around with the spirits.
I think spirits are playing around with people.
Yeah.
I stopped and asked for permission to go back there, and
no, he wanted to do that.
No, he looked at me. He says, "Man, you're crazy." I'm like, "Well, yeah, probably so," but no, he wouldn't let us go back there. So, yeah.
That's a good thing. And we weren't antagonizing or anything. We were just sitting there. I mean, we had looked around. We had read. We just walked around and read some of the graves, stones. Just seeing what ages. Some of them were from the 1800s.
Right.
And unfortunately, there had been vandalism out there too, so that wasn't really cool. But we were just sitting there in the car, and just all of a sudden, it was like somebody's shaking her door on the Jeep and trying to get in. That was
Maybe they thought you were their Uber.
I don't know.
Just carry me down to the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never went back. So.
I guess you would have been. Yeah. That'd be an experiment, though, just to go back there, but keep the doors locked and see, you know what I mean, how long it went on before they gave up. Or would they go to another door? You know what I mean? If one door didn't open, would they go around to the other door and go, well, maybe this one opens?
Oh, I have
That'd
no
be the
idea. It scared me. I was out of there.
it'd be my luck. I'd forget to lock the doors.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Leave the keys hanging in it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It,
did
it
that
is a little
around.
weird. That would be a little weird. I mean, I've had an experience like that where doors were shaking, at our house that we had in Arizona. We had these double doors that led to like an office area, and they were closed. It's broad daylight in the afternoon, and my wife and I were doing in the kitchen. She was preparing stuff for dinner. We were talking, and the doors just started shaking back and forth, like someone either wanted in or out. And at that point, I didn't know what, and we both looked at each other like, what the hell did that just happen? And it went on. I mean, it went on for about 5 or 6 seconds. It stopped, then did it again for another 3 or 4 seconds. It was pretty aggressive. And in that moment, we didn't run. We're already in our house, so what are we gonna do? But I guess it might be a little more alarming if it was a car and someone was jiggling the handle, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It seems like it would be a little more personal at
Well,
that point, because
yeah,
that's
it
your
was
car.
out in the middle of nowhere, and
Yeah.
there's nobody else around.
Right, and you really have nowhere to go. You're in your car, so you're not going to get out of your car, obviously, at that point.
Mm-mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
No.
but I would have to go back to see if I could get it to happen again, and I'd feel bad for leaving. You know what I mean? I would feel bad for leaving, just because what if those people really needed me or needed help or something, and I don't know. So I'd probably have to go back and go, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to, ditch you like that, but here's the deal.
Now you see what the paranormal has done to you. I mean, if you went into paranormal, you would have hauled ass and never looked back.
Right.
Now you're in the paranormal. You want to go back and help them.
That's like
exactly.
what my she was reminding me that most people, when they see smoke, they run away. But people in fire and rescue departments, they run to it.
Right.
And they get in their personal vehicles and they run up there to see what's going on. Well, this could be some sort of hazardous material not supposed to breathe in, but they're going to be the first ones there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So I guess it's the same way with us. Everybody else is running out. We're going to be running in.
Yeah, and I think that it just kind of it grows on you. I mean, from your very first experiences, whatever they may have been, to fast forward all the years later, and you are who you are now, and that's a big part of who you are. And I've always felt, because I've had to get a little pissy with some of the stuff that was going on in our house before, on a couple of them, but then I felt bad. Because I didn't understand what was going on and why they were doing what they were doing. I didn't know who it was or what was going on. So I just kind of, in a way, lashed out. Like, what are you doing? We don't want you here. What do you want? Just go away. And then things kind of got quiet. So after I did that, I just felt a little shitty at that point, just inside. Like, I don't even know who this was. I don't know what they were. What if they really needed help? What if it was somebody that I did know? Well, all these questions started like coming in, and then that's when I really started to dig in and get more and more into the paranormal, because, I could have done something. Maybe I could have helped them. Maybe, all these questions started coming up, and I didn't have the answers to them, and I just felt bad in that moment. I was like, I felt like such a shithead just for saying go away instead of going, okay, how can we help you? Whoever you are, whatever you need, what is it? And I always think about it from time to time. I still feel bad.
I ran into that last night when we were doing a spirit box session, and this deep voice thing come through and said something and he was actually talking to the client. The client was actually talking to the spirit box, and it was a deep voice, and it said something, I hate you, or I'm gonna haunt you, or anyway, some crap like that. And I immediately ordered that spirit back. I'm pushing this spirit, telling them not to do that and stuff. And honestly, I felt like shit after I'd done that, because it could have been something that was pertaining to exactly what we were trying to find out. And so I know exactly how you feel there. And years ago, hell no, I wouldn't have felt that way.
Yeah.
So this thing we call the paranormal changes you.
Oh, it totally does. Yeah. And I believe it's for the better. I really do, because Am I the way I see it? You experience these things for a reason, I think. I mean, because not everyone does. There's people that go their entire life, or they just don't even know that they're having the experiences. Either way, certain people, I think it happens for a reason. I think you pick up on it for a reason, and I think it kind of draws you in for a reason. Maybe it's because of who you are. Maybe it's because of who you've become. I don't know. But I know that it changed me, and I'll never be the same, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I won't. Honestly, I don't ever see myself getting out of the paranormal now and I just thirst to know more and more and more. And,
Right.
And it's like Teresa put on our website, or it was on her page or something. She said that we help the living and the dead.
Right.
And honestly, it's easier to help the dead than it is the living.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of times, that's right.
So, and I would so much rather work with the dead most of the time over the
I know, right? They're much more pleasant most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right there.
I don't know how many times I've said that in my life. I would rather work with them or animals over the living.
Right. Yeah. Last night it was it was kind of iffy there for a little while, and it was really, I knew we were on to something when we got all of our equipment set up, and of course we had 2 locations that we were having to do. So I separated the group. That was, in fact, I sent everybody to the second location, and I stayed at the main house. And I was actually going through investigating right after I set up our DVR system and that type of thing, and the clients actually got in my way, and I know they were interested in what I was doing, and they wanted to experience, hey, is this really what's happening to me, and that type of thing. But that you don't want to turn around and tell your client, hey, you got to move.
Right.
But I mean, it worked out. It worked out good, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. They're great people. But there was no electric, and as soon as the K2 started going off, in fact, we had the electric turned off to the house, and the K2 started going off, and everybody that was there just came alive. I mean, we made direct contact with family members and that type of thing, and when the answers started coming through the spirit box, I had a sense of relief, but I also had this heightened sense of concern, because the interaction between the spirits and the family wasn't exactly the way it should have been. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there was a line there that I was getting close to crossing, and because I didn't want to leave anything at all negative with these people, and hence that's when the deep voice started coming through, and that type of thing, and I could tell that was not a family member. And it's like I explained to these guys, I said, look, you're going to have negative spirits try to intimidate you. They try to intimidate the spirits that is actually inhabiting your house, maybe your family members or whatever, and they're going to do that through them. And so that's why we have to take certain steps. And so we got it across to them, but still it was a little touch and go there for a while. So I like it when clients decide that we're going to go down to Aunt Susie's house and just let y'all have y'all's thing.
Yeah,
And,
it's much better that way. Just give us the place and go on about your day or your night or whatever, and just come back later. Yeah,
exactly. We're going to
for
talk
sure.
about it and show the evidence and everything anyway. So, you'll get to skip all the boring stuff and you'll get right straight to the good stuff. And that's what I try to say.
And he kept yelling. He would get his face, like his mouth was almost touching the spirit box, and he was screaming into it like they could.
Like it's a microphone.
Right. Like some people, whenever they experience somebody that doesn't speak the same language, and then they want to raise their voice, like the louder
in the same language. Yeah.
Not gonna happen. At work, the store manager is the same way. He kept getting louder and louder and louder. The guy across the street from us had a restaurant called the Yummy Bowl, an Oriental place, and the guy was trying to buy cabbage from him, and they were dickering back and forth, and my manager was talking louder and louder and louder, and after the guy left, I said, "Carl, was that guy deaf or something?" He says, "No, why? Because you were screaming at him, but he don't understand English." I said, "Well, that's not anything.
You're still speaking English, dude."
Right. Just doing it loudly, and so that's kind of crazy, but it was fun.
It's fun to watch, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same guy on my Facebook page. I don't know if y'all seen where he flipped the bale off the dock.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
that's the same guy that's flipping the bale, and he's about as hick as he can be. He's a super nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's about as hick as they come. And
speaking of his job, do y'all know what Stan does for a living?
Well, not now, because I know that you got a promotion, right? And I don't know if I heard you go into detail about that.
It goes back to that whole leader thing. I just somebody to blame for shit. But go ahead.
We call Stan the butcher because he's a butcher.
Right. Well, I knew he was a butcher, but I thought that he had got a promotion, so I didn't know if he was still doing the exact same thing or not.
Well, I'm a little less butcher, and a little more manager.
Okay.
So I guess you say I have a little less blood on my hands.
Yeah, right.
He has a lot. He has a lot. Freaks the kids out. Like, whoa.
But a couple of members in my group called me Butterbean.
Yes. I don't know why.
And that's my co-host on Wiregrass Homes, Miss Krista. Yeah, she calls me. She used to work with me at the same store, and she was like front end manager or something. Anyway, because at that time, I was really a big guy, and I wasn't bald, but the guy that on TV they called Butterbean or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that's where she got.
Okay.
And
you're not tiny now.
No. Well, no, I'm not tiny now, but I'm not Butterbean or Lima Bean. But but whenever I was in high school, they called me Tiny. So nicknames are kind of strange, but anyway. Dave, do you have a nickname?
Oh, there's so many for him.
I don't know if there's one I could say on the air. No,
I was going to say, should I ask Becky first?
Woman. Lady of the night.
She-Man.
I don't know if Dave, I don't know if you have or haven't, but we have on Facebook our Tucson Ghost Society chat message.
Yeah, you know what? And I was going to ask about that. All the different names everyone has and how they came about. Yeah, I was going to ask about
that. That was Will, but Dave, did you see what Will named you in the chat?
No, that must have been up further before I realized what all was going on. which I didn't really
You're
realize
referred
what I
to
was.
as Pretty Woman.
Oh, nice. Nice.
What?
That made my day.
I nicknamed
Wow.
him Pretty Woman.
He was being nice about it, at
Yeah,
least.
that could have been. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It made my day. It could have been way worse, man. Awesome.
And
Awesome.
you know what's sad is Becky complained about being called Queen of the Damned.
But she accepted it eventually. Right?
I wanted Queen of something, but not the damn.
Queen of You. That's what she wanted. Queen of Will.
I don't know. But
Hey,
yeah, so
hey, Dave.
Dave has a ton of nicknames, but we can't say them all on air.
Hey, hey guys, I noticed in the chat room, is that Rihanna, right? Is that how you
Yes.
say her name?
Raina.
Raina. Okay. She had made a statement he investigated by himself. I just wanted to let her know that at that point I really didn't have a choice to do that because we had two areas to investigate and not enough people to cover. So the rest of the group was coming right back. So I just kind of started things off. No, I don't normally investigate by myself. That's not a good thing, good practice to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just happened to notice that, and I wanted to say, no, I'm not crazy. And sometimes you have to. I mean, it's just not a safe thing to do, and she's right. You know.
Well, Raina is actually part of Tucson Ghost Society, so she's part of my team, or Will and my team. So.
Right. Yeah, I've seen her in the chat room before. I just wanted to, remark about that. No, I don't normally do that, but sometimes you have mitigating circumstances where you have to do things.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Sometimes it's okay to do the wrong thing for the right reason.
Well, we were like 2.5 hours away from home or something, or hour and a half away from home, and we had one shot at this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
right.
But I was only there, 10 minutes by myself or something.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team came back. So, I was safe. I was taking all the guards. But no, I don't normally investigate by myself. That's not a safe thing to do.
No. But you got to do what you got to do sometimes. So we get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we are 10 minutes away from Mysteries Explained closing up for the night. So I guess we need to take time to thank everyone from Webb Paranormal for coming on tonight and let them say what they want to say their goodbyes.
Teresa?
Really? I don't know. Just remember, we're searching the unknown for answers.
That's right. We are. And hopefully we're going to get some real soon. But ladies, do y'all have anything to say?
We Shawana still on mute?
Probably.
Okay. Well, I'm eager to learn more. And maybe we might not get answers. We might get more mysteries.
Hey, we love those too.
Oh, you're definitely going to get more mysteries. Yeah, that's a given. But that's what keeps you looking for answers. So, it's all good.
That's right.
But thank you for having us on tonight.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Thank you guys for
I haven't ran anybody over.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
That's a good
the night's
thing.
not over yet.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
I just wish we had more time to talk to everybody individually because I know how it goes when you have, a show and you have multiple people on there. You just kind of, it's like hard to get everybody in there. So, sorry, we didn't mean to, leave anybody out or not give anyone a chance to speak if they wanted to.
That's true. If I could have kept my stuff shorter, right?
No, it's just what happens. When you have multiple people on there, it happens every time. It's just what it is. It's what it is. But we definitely enjoyed you guys coming on with us and hanging out.
We appreciate y'all having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was awesome, and it kind of giving me the other side of the card, so to speak. But y'all wait, y'all coming on Wiregrass Haunts, so
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we get to talk again.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
create
awesome.
a trivia question.
Yeah, Teresa's gonna create a trivia question.
And if you get it right, I'll send you some hot sauce.
Webb Paranormal Group hot sauce.
I'll make sure
Nice.
Becky drinks it.
I don't think so. I'll make sure not to answer.
Hey, Will, you answer and we'll send
Sounds
it to
good.
you.
I will. Trust me.
I am not one for spicy stuff, so no, I'm good.
I got some stuff called Hellfire too.
I'll mix it in her potatoes. You'll never know.
No.
It is. It's on fire.
Well, thank you guys for being on tonight. I know, Stan, you're actually going to come back next week because we are actually next week going to have the Voice Carry Network, as many of you as possible on the show to chit chat and have fun with next week. So,
Right. Yeah, it'll be fun again.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
And we appreciate it.
And thank you for
I
having
want
us.
you guys to promote your website and all that too. So please be sure to do that right now.
All right. Thank you. He's stepping out of the room for a bit. So, you know his deal.
We want to make sure you guys get promoted too.
Thank you. And we are trying our best to announce y'all as we're announcing our group. We had everybody in from Voices Carry Radio Network.
Well, we appreciate that.
And Heather Marie is trying to get some stuff up for y'all as well.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Very cool.
So
That ought to be
I've
some
been
sweet freaking stuff.
it is.
Nice little
It is.
app there, Dave.
I know. I had to do it. I had to do it.
She got a bit carried away with her show and cracked the screen on her computer.
It figures. The one night that I didn't listen, that figures. It figures.
Cracked that screen. So she's working lame, but she's doing it. Yes, but like crippled.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely our pleasure.
Definitely. Thank you guys.
Thanks for everyone for hanging out and joining us and BSing with us for a while.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Oh, it's a blast.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night.
All right, take care.
Well, everyone that was Webb Paranormal, we want to thank them all for being on the show tonight. And
I'd like to thank the ones that weren't able to make it.
yep, just everyone in general.
Everybody from Webb Paranormal Group, for sure.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Pretty Woman.
In the house?
There you go, Dave. You got your own shout out. Aren't
Right.
you happy and excited about that?
As weird as that is, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty
It
Woman.
says our show was terminated.
Mm.
Okay. Well, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be live on freaking
Cool.
iHeart.
Yeah, I know. There's another one of our lovely mistakes
Right.
that can be shown.
We'll add that to the blooper well. Oh, we've been terminated, but everybody still hears us.
Oh my
Son
gosh.
of a biscuit.
And just some kind of Spricker thing, I guess.
It says we got 2 people that said terminated.
Well, live broadcasted glitch.
Nah.
It's good.
Well, just in case we are still live, Dave, why don't you go ahead and say what you normally say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, again, thank Webb Paranormal Group, everybody that was with us tonight, and those that couldn't make it as well.
God, I'd like to meet.
So now it says Skype decided to be an ass. So is it actually still on? I don't even know anymore.
Well,
I don't even know anymore.
You know, Dave, Will's like singing Pretty Woman to you, and you're completely ignoring that. So.
Oh, it's probably because I didn't hear I was talking. I heard something, but I didn't. Well, see, now I just want to shut up and listen. No, I'm just kidding. No, and I just want to make sure that everybody checks out all the shows on the Voice of Scary Network, starting with Monday, which is Sweet Freakings with Heather Marie, right? And that is 8 p.m. All the times are Eastern, so it's 8 p.m. Eastern. And Tuesday we have Wiregrass Haunts, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we got Voices Carry, 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't even need to say 8 p.m. Eastern.
I know. I just said they're all 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say it anymore. And then we got that one show on Thursday.
That's called Mysteries Explained
yes,
at 8 p.m. Eastern.
At 8 p.m. Eastern, exactly. So check out all the shows.
You can also go over to iHeartRadio now.
Exactly,
Yay.
that's right, iHeartRadio, which is totally cool.
Yeah, and also make sure you follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Facebook, it's Mysteries Explained. Twitter is at Mysteries Radio. And iHeartRadio, follow us there, because you actually can follow us. Dave, have you gone to iHeartRadio and followed us yet?
I haven't followed you, but I was trying to go to iHeartRadio.
Follow us. It's you, me, and Will. It's us.
Yeah, no, but when I tried to go on my phone and I got all jacked up. So what I'm going to do is try it on because I have to reinstall it on my phone. Yeah. But once I get it on the computer, I can do it on the computer, and then once I reinstall it on my phone, I'll be good. It's easier just to do it on my computer and then log in on my phone. Right. It sounds stupid, but it's just I've gone through that with iHeart before, and that's just the way it has to work.
Yeah. Well, until next week with Voice Carry Radio, we want to say good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And until we talk to you again, remember, you are never truly alone. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.